Let's just knock one out the way because we're both gonna have the same answer, so we don't say it later. Having a kid. Yeah. I'm involved in all but one of her things on her list, and she did not say me once.
Welcome to the Alyssa and Julian Podcast.
I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Julian, and this is the Alyssa and Julian Podcast. Let's get it, man.
Oh my goodness.
What do you have this week for your intention of the week, Alyssa?
It's funny because I don't have one. I'm doing a skip week.
That you cannot do a skip week.
Yes, I can.
Oh my
I feel
goodness.
like I get to a point where I just say so many in the last couple that I never freaking do. So then I just feel like there's no point because I'm not going to say something else that I'm not going to do, because then I feel like I'm adding so much to the list of things I have to do and so much to my plate that I want to either A, do something, or B, I've had intentions of actually filming. Like I have video ideas, but it needs to get to the point where I need to pick up the camera. So I'm not giving myself another intention. I'm going to force myself to do something. Like something, I don't know. Yeah. I had the same intention for 2 weeks in a row. Haven't done it. So, I have a bye week. I have a pass. I'm not doing this to myself. However you want to word it. That's what I have.
Okay.
What do you have?
Mine is actually kind of simple. I just want to go into
simple, stupid. Sorry.
I want to go into every day with full intention on what I'm doing for the day. So I'm going to be getting back into doing to-do lists every morning on my phone.
I love to-do lists.
Yeah. So I want to see what that looks like, because I felt like I was more intentional, getting more done when I had them. To-do lists actually really keep me grounded. And they keep me I have a tendency to get very scatterbrained because there's so much to do that I lose it. Mm-hmm. So I need to get back into my to-do list, and yeah.
And it's also good to have it on your phone, I feel, because like your phone's always with you. Mm-hmm. I sometimes used to make like to-do lists in like a little book. I think I've talked about it, that notebook that I literally write like the next page is something different. Like it's literally just like a brain dump journal almost.
Right.
The beginning of that notebook is literally like every page was like a to-do list that I had for like my days off. But like if I go out like and I don't remember what I had, or I didn't remember what I wanted to do, like something like that, like I don't bring the book. Like I don't think to bring it with me. So like when I'm out, I don't remember. And then if I go home and look and like one of my things was something else to do while I was out, like I'll be like, oh. And then you got to go back out. Yeah, no. So on your phone, you could always just look at it.
Exactly. And that's what I like.
Those little things you could actually use like the check mark. Like when you do like the bubble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Love that.
And it puts a line through it. It feels so good. And then I want to put like really simple things on it. Like, just like something, stupid simple, so that like I see stuff getting checked off, and that always helped me get my day going in a more productive manner.
Right. Like people do like,
I'll probably just put journal.
Get ready for the day. Like all this stuff.
Things like that.
It's simple, but it gets checked off. So it just makes you feel like you're actually accomplishing something, even if it's small.
Exactly.
Love that.
That's my goal.
Love that.
Sounds like you should just steal mine if you
Honestly, probably.
If you're on a bye week.
Probably, dude. Oh my God, yeah, because like I could have the small stuff, like.
And maybe picking up your camera would be on one of those days.
Get out of bed, brush your teeth, get water, like all this.
Go to work. Something you have to do.
Oh my God,
it's already just done.
I have to cross it off. Anyways, I probably should. Anyways, streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music,
Google Podcast,
or come watch us here on YouTube.
Honestly, anywhere you look for us, man, like we're probably there.
We are there.
So make sure you come, check us out, leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening, all that good stuff. But
all right.
What are we talking about today, Miss Alyssa?
So today's topic could either be very light or it could be pretty heavy.
Okay.
It depends on how deep in the topic you want to go.
Okay.
We are going to be talking about things that have changed your life.
She told me about this like an hour ago, so I really have like no type of preparation. So we're just going
I didn't
to.
tell you. You asked.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna kind of wing this one. Are we
do you want me
talking
to
about
start?
people, like
It's literally
objects?
anything that has changed your life. That's why I said it could be light or it could be
All right.
heavy
Well, let's just knock
and
one out the
deep.
way. Let's just knock one out the way because we're both gonna have the same answer, so we don't say it later. Having a kid,
parent.
yes. Having a kid.
Literally, the first thing on my list was becoming a mother/parent.
Boom.
Holy moly. That has changed.
Perspective.
That has changed perspectives. That has changed me. That has changed my life. That has changed like how I do things. Because now I have to do them with a child sometimes if Julian doesn't have him, or if like Julian's out and like I'm out. I feel like if I'm out with him, like sometimes like I'm not like keeping him occupied, but like I don't know. I feel like
You're constantly thinking
I'm
about
walking
him.
through the store like talking to him, even though like he doesn't talk back. But other than that, if I feel like if you have him and I'm doing something, like I feel like I have to like not rush, but I'm like, oh my god, I have to get back.
Ditto.
It's
Literally
such like
ditto.
a different like mind
yeah,
space
it's a
with the kid.
completely
Like
different
it's
thing.
crazy.
Same. So yeah, that's
Oh
why
my
I said let's just
goodness.
get that one out the way because I knew we both had that one on the list.
That's easy. First one. My second thing on the list was actually YouTube because I never thought I'd like do it. I've always like watched YouTube and like thought about it, but like me being me, I never would have pushed myself to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that like here we are on between this and the reactions, like
Facts.
and like we're pretty deep into it. Years into this,
Yeah.
thousands of subscribers later, like
We're gonna be coming up on a year on the podcast soon too.
I'm sorry, what?
Look at the podcast date. I'm gonna tell you actually while you go into your next one, I'll tell you when we start
That's
the podcast
crazy.
channel.
Well, it's funny because my next one is actually podcasting. I've told this story many of times. I've told Julian thousands of times. I never was really into podcasting, or not podcasting, but like listening to podcasts. I'd always like watch YouTube videos or in the car, I'd like listen to music or something like that. I've completely have changed and done like a complete like 180. And now I feel like the only thing I put on is a podcast. I started listening to new ones. I found new ones. I'm like looking forward to days because like I find out like I'm kind of keeping track better of like what days the people I watch post their podcast episodes. So like sometimes I'll get in the car leaving work and I'm like, all right, what do I want to listen to? Like, you know, those times you like struggled and you didn't know what to play, didn't know what playlist to put on, what song to put on. Well, now I have that with podcasts and I'm like, okay, like who do I want to listen to? What episode do I want to listen to? Blah, blah, blah. And then I'll look on my phone to see like what day it is. Cause like all of a sudden you're like, what day is it? And like you get really excited when like you realize that like someone has posted. It's great. But then I had said something about how I wanted to start a podcast and Julian looked at me like I had 6 heads and I didn't think he'd ever be on board because it didn't sound like he really was or like wanted to be. And the fact that this happened like so fast, we went to Target one night after, I think it was a live stream or like reactions. I think it was a live stream. And we went to Target just to look and see like possibilities of what we can use and get for our podcast and ended up leaving with stuff for it and like started either like that night or the next night. Set everything up, recorded it.
How old do you think our podcast is? How old do you think our first episode is?
First episode? Well, I don't know. It's hard to say because we did take a little bit of a break. I would say like June, July.
Our first episode of the podcast was uploaded on June 6, 2022. So we're literally at 10 months. It's
It's actually my dad's birthday.
It's gonna be a year soon.
That's actually
Our
insane.
first podcast
That was right after I went back to work. That was 3 days after I went back to work after
We probably
maternity.
pre-recorded it. We probably recorded it before you went back to work.
Probably. It had to be if it was because I went back that Sunday. I went back the 5th. Oh my God. I was thinking and I was like, it had to be then because then we took a bit of a break, came back after the new year. But so I was going to say it only feels like a couple months, but that's because we like restarted in January. So I was like, okay, if you think about the break and then like a little bit like before that. That's why I
And
was
we
like,
finally are getting
June,
guests
July.
on now, man.
oh my God.
Come back next week for a very
Literally,
special
so
episode, bro.
This week, I mean, obviously it's going to be this episode. Next week, we have guest number 2 already. I'm so excited for you guys to hear that episode.
I got 3 and 4 in the works. I'm literally like, I'm on my grind trying to get us guests, y'all. Like, I love talking
Julian's
to
just
people.
going to be like, guest every episode. Let's go. Who's
Yeah,
next?
literally,
Line up.
bro.
He's gonna have
Literally.
a line out the door and you have to like pull a ticket to like pull a number.
Who's next? Come sit down and talk to Alyssa and Julian. Sit in the seat. Sit in the hot seat.
That's funny.
Sit in the hot
But
seat.
definitely coming soon. But yeah, I didn't think I'd start it. I didn't think Julian would be on board. I didn't think it'd happen so fast. And the fact that now I'm like so far ahead of planning episodes, like spoiler alert, we recorded the episode you're hearing next week with the guest before we recorded this one because of she's in a different time zone, she's in a different state. We had to work it out, so it was easier for us to do that one. But then like the last episode Julian did, he's doing this one again. Give him a little more time to edit it because it's a little more than what a normal podcast editing.
I'll be honest with y'all. That editing, I haven't even started yet, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it's the hardest piece of editing I think I've ever done.
Yeah, so he needs a little bit more time. Instead of having this uploaded in like 4 days. So you guys will get this one. But like I said, spoiler alert, I had said in that episode, that's so weird. I had an intention for that one, but I didn't have one for this one. Anyways,
I was thinking that, but I was
should have kept the same one. In that one, I had my intention of the week. Because it is going to be like later in the month, so I could like keep it going. I have podcast episodes planned until the end of next month. So like we're in April, I have until like almost the end of May like planned. So I actually had to go through with my notebook today because I had to like squeeze the one we just did in because I didn't have it like mapped like as like an in-between episode. So I had to like fix all the like numbers and all this stuff just to keep myself like on track and when everything was being uploaded and like all that stuff. But yeah, I feel like I just like rambled on that whole thing. So what's your next one?
You don't have any more?
I do.
Oh, go.
Do you want me
Keep
to
going.
go?
Yeah, just keep going.
All right. So the next one I had was like the first step in like, I don't know, like a moving process, I guess, was moving out of my parents' house for the first time. I feel like that's definitely just a change because like it's like the next like almost like step in life type of situation. Like everyone always is like they wait until they like move out of the house, whether it's like going to college or like finding your own place, moving in with someone, like that type of thing. I did move out and Julian and I had gotten our own place for the first time. Julian was already on his own, but I hadn't been. I had still been in my parents' house. So that was definitely a change. Like you don't see like I had my parents and my 2 brothers, like obviously like you see them like every day, like that type of thing. And it like changes where like you don't see them every day anymore, which at first is like weird. Like you're just waking up in like a new environment, like new surrounding. So that was, I don't know, just obviously a change. Moving out in any aspect is always a change. I also had on my list that like, I don't know if I want to say like it really like changed my life. In a way it kind of did, was moving out of the town that I grew up in because I had gone to school kindergarten through senior year. Like all my friends are there, like everyone that I like grew up with were there. Like I had family down there. Like I don't know, like just moving, and especially because like I moved not far, but like it seemed far. Like getting there was like not the easiest. You had to like go from like one highway to the next, and it's like a 35 minute drive type of situation from where I moved from to like where I moved to, if that makes sense. So I don't know, it was definitely just a change. It's definitely like a new scene, new like surrounding, new people. Like I said, I also moved after I graduated, so like it's not like I was going to school there, so it's not as easy to like meet people because I also wasn't working anywhere up there. So I don't know, it was just different, like a whole different vibe. So that was kind of new and like adjusting for me. And then the last one that I had on my list was like so where I work is the first job I had. I'm just like in a new spot. So like starting your first job and like all these people, I feel like was kind of different because like it's a new thing to add in my life. And then like I said, I am in like with the same company, just in a new location. So like that was a big adjustment. Like it's a whole new, I keep having like whole new like scenes or like surroundings. And I don't know, like I'm not like used to like always having like a change.
I'm going to roast you.
So it throws me off. What?
I'm going to roast you.
Go ahead.
I'm involved in all but one of her things on her list, and she did not say me once. That's crazy.
When I said moving.
Yeah, you mentioned me as in like move, but I didn't change your life apparently.
Oh my
Excuse
God.
me for not changing her. She said all these things and I'm involved in every single step, but I didn't change her life at all, y'all. I'm just here chilling. I ain't changed. Don't worry. Don't even trip. No, I'm just kidding.
I guarantee you wouldn't have put me on your list.
I just feel like it's kind of obvious, actually. Not even gonna lie. I feel like it is obvious. See, that's why I said let's say the baby thing too early.
If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Julian and I were friends for a while before we dated. I love that saying, so I always like incorporate it.
Wait, what?
I always incorporate it when I like can. If you know us, like I said with the whole YouTube and so podcasting was kind of me, but like YouTube, you know dang well, Julian was the biggest influence in that. Like, would I have done that by my own? No. Would I have started my channel on my own before Julian? No. Would I have started my channel on my own, even with Julian? It took a lot of convincing.
Would you have had a baby without Julian?
That's weird. We're gonna breeze past that one. That could get into a very awkward conversation.
That's not awkward. It's called science.
I mean, the answer could still be yes. Like I could still have a baby without you.
You could.
So that could just get into a very like awkward because I could have been like, yeah. And you'd have been like, huh?
I mean, the question just would have been when at that point.
Yeah, see, that's a whole nother.
You'd still be waiting at this point. If you're waiting to not have one with me, but you're still with me, unless you're a trash human being.
Anyways, this just took a detour.
I'm sorry. Y'all, she got me out here recording this at 9:45 at night. I am tired. I done worked.
It's 9:44. Actually, that clock says 9:43.
I love how like I'm saying this like, dude, I became an old man. I love how I'm saying this like that's super late at night.
Dude, my dream is to be in bed by like 8.
Okay, that's ridiculous. But
no, it's not.
But I will say this. I don't know why. I think it's because of the heat, but like lately my energy has been so down. If anybody has any tips or anything like that, please put me on. I need something to get my energy back up.
Iron.
I feel like a shell of myself lately with the way my energy has been.
Iron.
For the past like few months. Iron?
Iron.
That's a thing?
You become tired if you have an iron deficiency.
I doubt I have an iron deficiency.
I think I do.
That's more honestly. Of a common thing for females. I mean, anemia does run in my blood.
Wait, what?
But like...
That doesn't make sense.
Anemia runs in my family history.
Yeah, you said in your blood.
Yeah, in my bloodline. That just sounds
weird because like anemic has to do with blood.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So it sounded really...
Anemia runs in my bloodline. So like my grandmother and my mom were anemic. Well, they still are.
And it's really scary for a female to be anemic.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Well, I guess it's more likely for a female to be anemic.
I mean, it does in cases, but that's why like then people have to take like iron like intake.
You know what I heard? I heard mercury. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Mercury is like something that humans are naturally deficient of.
Really?
Yeah, we need more. Excuse me. We need more mercury.
Huh. I didn't even know that was a thing. That sounds like you're talking about like planets.
Planets, right. That's what I thought too. But nope. Apparently it's a vitamin that your body needs that we don't get enough of.
Oh, I probably wouldn't have had enough of it because I didn't even know it was a thing.
I don't even know where it comes from. Yo, somebody fact check me on this stuff, man. Don't just be letting me say this random crap on the internet. Y'all probably like, what, Julian? Like, anyway, back to what we were saying though. Honestly, it's kind of obvious. Like she said my name multiple times in there. I'm just teasing her. It's kind of obvious that we've impacted each other's lives heavily. We live together. We see each other on a daily basis. There's no way we're in business together. There's no way we haven't impacted each other's lives on a daily basis. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead. That's
I feel like she said a lot of mine. So like, I'll just kind of go through the list because I I feel like YouTube's on the list, so I'm not going to just say YouTube because YouTube obviously changed my life. I'm not going to get into my full story here right now, but like starting YouTube.
I feel like you would talk about it because like YouTube helped you.
YouTube helped me through a tough time. Again, I'm not going to get into the full story right now, but like YouTube really did help me in a tough time in my life. You know, having a baby, we said getting my first job where I met Alyssa at was big for me.
That wasn't really your first job.
It was.
Really?
It was my first like actual punch in, punch out like job. Yeah.
But you worked 2 jobs at the time, didn't you?
No.
When you started?
No. That was my only job when I started. I picked up a second job after I graduated high school. Yeah. But when I first started, no, it was only the one job.
Got it.
Things that changed my life, actually just brought up something huge that changed my life. Having my lung collapse has changed my life in a very negative way, but I guess on a positive light, like I'm getting control over it. But like I basically have gotten like, I've had really bad PTSD from my lung collapsing through a lot of my life. And it's so bad I can't even drink an energy drink. Like I bought an energy drink. I wanted to try the new Prime drink. I had like 2 or 3 sips and started freaking out after I drank it.
He literally was like texting me saying he was going to try it, but then he texted me and was like, I probably should have just waited till you get home because I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, like I just started freaking out because like, having an energy drink was something I had done for the first time. And it was the last thing I drank right before my lung collapse. Like the last thing I remember doing differently. So I think that played a big part. And anytime you do anything differently with things like that, like you're like, oh, that had to be the cause. Because especially when the doctors can't say that there's a cause, they don't know. They're just like, oh, it just kind of spontaneously happens. So for me, that was like a big thing for me. I
feel like usually when something like that, like not like that happens, but like when something happens, I feel like they would like ask you like what you've done differently or recently to try to see like what would be the cause.
The thing is, the name in the diagnosis is literally the first word is spontaneous.
Huh. No, but I'm not saying like that in particular, but like something.
Well, they asked if I got a blow to the chest because normally when you get, a collapsed lung is from a blow to the chest, like a car accident or something. They asked if I was in a car accident or anything like that.
Like,
I said
no.
no.
They were like, what?
Well, no, it's in the diagnosis. They said it's a spontaneous pneumothorax.
That's weird how that is something that can be spontaneous.
Right. Tell me about it.
That's
so like
crazy.
That is what gave me the anxiety. I think if there was a cause for it, something that was more like, hey, this is how that happened, I would have been better off. And I shouldn't say better off. I wouldn't have reacted.
You would have felt better.
PTSD the way I did, but because there was no like, hey, this is the direct cause of an action you did. This just happened. Your body just kind of gave up on you. That's kind of how I perceived it, I guess.
That's scary.
And then, I got therapy for it for a little while, doing better now. I probably should still go, but I don't. But yeah, that's a whole different story. What else changed my life? Well, listen, y'all, there's a number of things I feel like changed my life. Like I went and lived with a family member that was different. That changed my life in a way because it was like my first look at a normal family. I went and lived with my uncle and aunt, and it was my first look at like mom and dad in the house. With kids, and it was actually one kid at the time. So it was just me and my cousin, and like now they have another kid, but it was just me and my cousin, and it was very like, it felt almost like a TV show. I felt like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. No, seriously though, I went up to live in this like neighborhood that was completely different from where I grew up, and I was the cool kid in town. You know what I mean? So like I was just like,
cool new kid in
town. So I was like, oh, this is dope. Like, this is what Will Smith was dealing with on Fresh Prince. Like, this is why he acted the way he acted. And like me and my uncle had a very Uncle Phil and Will Smith type relationship. And I feel like we still do to this day.
I love the way you're comparing this. That's seriously so funny. It's so spot on.
Like,
I've never thought of it like that. So the fact that you're going like into depth and like explaining it is so funny.
Isn't
it
like, true?
Oh, wow.
Like looking at it is so true.
That's
like,
so funny.
and like, it's so funny because like I see direct comparisons. Like I really would see my cousin as like a Carlton figure. Like I literally like Aunt Viv, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's literally
done like a parody.
We should have done a parody. We could have done a really good parody.
That would have been so funny.
We could have done a parody.
Oh my God.
So like that really did change my life because I got to see like what a normal like family household. Not saying that like living with my mom wasn't normal stuff, but like, you know, she's a single mom trying to do her thing. So it's a little different than living with, you know, a successful mom and dad relationship and, you know, a successful, happy family with a happy marriage, you know, with a united belief in Christ and the way that house runs. You know, we get up, we pray every morning before we leave. We'd all have like a prayer together before we went about our day. And that time really did change my life. Another thing that changed my life was getting baptized. That was really, really cool. And in fact, I have to give one of my friends a shout out. She started bringing me to that church and I went there and I got baptized and it was really, really good. Like the time I spent in that church was helpful. The people there are amazing. And I still watch online. I just haven't been able to get there the way I'd like to be, but that was really a game changer for me in that period of my life too, that I was going through. So yeah, I appreciate them for sure. Man, there's so much. Like, it's so bad because when I look back at it, there's so many things, like everything kind of just aligned perfectly for me to get here where I am at today. And I'm not saying I'm successful by any means. In fact, I'm still working very, very hard to get to where I'm going. But like, for things to have worked out the way they did is very good because like a lot of people aren't this blessed. A lot of people do end up, you know, with less, you know, beneficial situations that they fall into because of the cards they were dealt. But, you know, people loved me and made sure I was given kind of like the best hands possible. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I guess my family changed my life. So you're gonna make me all emotional. My family really did change my life. Like I have to give them all credit, like from my grandparents to my uncles, like my aunt, like they're all like people who changed my life. Is that what the question was? Am I even doing this right?
Yeah, just anything that has impacted you enough to like change your life. That's why I said this could be a very like light, like I said, like podcasting, or it could be very deep. It depends.
Yeah,
on how
it got deep. I was just thinking about it. I'm like, man, this got really deep. I'm showing like so much gratitude. I didn't even expect to go here with it, but like,
that's why I said this topic could be either very like casual conversation or like deep conversation, depending on what you wanted to talk about.
Here's the thing though, like a lot of things have influenced me over the years too. So like it's very, very hard. Like if we pick the topic, like if you pick YouTube, like right now, one of the things I'm most grateful for is the Creator Now program because of the fact that it's taken the way I make videos and completely transformed me into someone I don't even recognize. Like when I'm in the editing room, sometimes I just be sitting there. I say the editing room, like literally it's like all the same room, but I was thinking that. Mentally it's the editing room. Like in my brain, I go into an editing room. When I'm bringing myself in the editing room, I come out and I watch something as a viewer. I'm like, wow, I did that. I came up with that idea. And it's just like the way that they taught me, you know, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be yet. Like I said, there's still work to be done. But just knowing that I'm going to get there and like I'm getting as far as I am now with what I've done, that is insane. There's something to be said about where I've gotten now from a few months of Creator Now. I started Creator Now in September. If you watch my videos from pre-September, honestly, give me a couple months to get in there. I don't even know if it was September. It's probably closer to November. It's like watch my videos from like January. No. It was probably, I think I did do it September. But watch my videos from like maybe November on and then like go back and watch pre-November. My videos were so different, like and like so much lower quality compared to now. And you could say, oh, you got new equipment and stuff like that. Yeah, but I didn't know what I was doing with it. You know what I mean? Like now that I know what I'm doing with it, oh man. Because
I feel like being a content creator, you could have a lot of equipment, but you also need to have the knowledge to like follow through with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Whether it be like camera, whatever program you're using to edit, because like we've gone through like 2 or 3 at this point, maybe even like 4. So you need to know like how to work that to make it all work, and like what to like, because then you need to know how to like use it to like add things in to make effects work, like
definitely
all this stuff. And then between that and just, I don't know, like all this stuff you learn from like doing YouTube.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that too, though, because I want to give a big shout out to Black Magic Design. Actually, they have a big role to play because they did a lot for us. Like they found us at Playlist Live. and have been extremely helpful in the content creation process. Like that's why any chance I get, people ask me, yo, what editing software should I use? I always say DaVinci Resolve, always. And it's not just because they did take that risk on us, and I'll get into what they did in a second, but it's more so that the fact that I really do believe that the software is great and that they deserve credit for what they've built there. You
Literally,
know what I mean?
We kind of ran into them in like one of like the big rooms that had so much going on. We just kind of passed by. That was when we were I think that was when we were on like a break from podcasting, because when we went to play this live, we were moving. We had stopped for a little bit to be able to move and figure out like how we were setting this whole thing up, because we did in the house we were in to like this apartment, we did like lose a room. So we didn't know where the podcast would be set up. We obviously needed JJ's room. Like everything kind of had a spot already, so we needed to kind of fit it in, type of situation. But like we ran into them, we've talked with them. It became like a whole thing. We went in September. It is now April, and like we still have meetings with them. Like we still keep in touch. We're still like a quick like Zoom call, just being like, hey, how's it going? Like, what have you guys been up to? Like that type of situation. Like not even like talking about like their stuff. Sometimes like they just want to know like what we're doing, what we're into, how everything's going. Like it's awesome.
So what they did was they basically said, hey guys, we want to give you guys a gift. They gave us the full version of DaVinci Resolve. And then they said, hey, we're going to send you guys some products to test. So they've been letting us like loan products and test different products. And honestly, it's been so cool. Like it's been
been dope. They'll like send it over. We'll test it out, use it. We just had a whole like keyboard we were doing that we recently sent back. Like we'll use it, send it back. And it's just like, and they'll be like, that's like one of the things they'll call like, we'll have our meeting to be like, how is it working? Did you know you could do this? Like if you guys set this up, like this type of stuff. So it's like we're learning, but they're still like teaching us at the same time. But it's either a meeting like that, or it's a meeting like, oh, here's the new stuff. We'll see what we could do for you type of thing. Or it's meetings like, hey, we haven't talked in a while. Like, how are you?
Yeah, it's really good, because at the end of the day, like I have bad, like, you know, like needing new gear, and I'm really bad with that. But it also can show me like sometimes, actually almost every single time they sent me something, I've really said, wow, we're not even at this level yet. You know what I mean? Like they sent me something that's like for like professionals who go crazy, and I'm like, wow, like I'm barely even here. You know what I mean?
That was me with the keyboard.
Yeah, not just the keyboard, but that like the ATEM mini switcher they sent us. I was like, dude, like I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, I knew how to work it and I used it and it was fun. But at the same time, it was just like levels above where we were. And I was like, if this is where we're headed, I'm so excited. You know what I mean? So it was cool to get a look at like where, you know, where things are going. It's like a little motivator. I feel like we talked about them for like so long. There's so many things, guys. Like shout out to Black Magic Design, man. And then even more so, just to cap it off for them, they're so focused on their DaVinci Resolve software and making it the best editing software out right now. Like there's new updates that are pro user. They don't believe in subscription fees. Like this is not sponsored, by the way. Like I fully just believe in the product.
They're awesome people.
So sorry. And with that side note out of the way though, I really think that something that has changed my entire life was my time selling phones at Verizon.
Really?
Here's why.
Say good or bad?
No, good, definitely good, because it gave me the confidence to not need to rely on a 9-to-5 paycheck.
Ooh.
Because before that, I don't think I would have been okay with making money based upon my action versus based upon my time. Whereas like, you know, when I was working there, it was like commission based. So like I was working hard and like I would make money. Commission always scared me. So it was kind of like my first taste of like, okay, yeah, by commission, let me taste this. Let me see what it's like. And then I was like, wow, I'm really good at that. Like, what if I just put all my energy into working when I want, doing what I want? And then that got me here.
Yeah. So like, if you don't really know, commission pay is based on the sales that you do. So you could have like a really good time where like you're selling like probably like for him like Christmas time when people are like, oh, new phones for Christmas, new phones for a gift, new phones like that. That could be a time where you're selling a bunch of phones. You're making like a lot of money from sales type of thing. Or you can get into like a time where like you're not really selling much. So like you're still getting a paycheck, but it's not as big. It's not as good as you thought. It's not as good as it should be or like what you need type of thing. So sometimes that could get people in like a really tricky situation when it comes to like bills and like needing money and all this stuff. So like commission based can get really scary. It also depends on what you're doing. Cause I know like a lot of like vendors in like a grocery store, like soda and chips and all that are commission based as well. But like people get those like almost every day on
That's
the daily.
how iPhones were,
Like
honestly.
it's you have it where people are like, okay, I'm gonna get these just to snack on, or like you get so like it's
That's how iPhones were.
it's basic. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's so crazy because like they're all kind of the same because then you get to like the holidays, like where everyone has picnics and they're like, oh yeah, chips. So like that time is a time where like you're selling a little more, like you're probably doing a little more money, or you get into like the periods where like, okay, not a lot of people buy chips at this time, or not a lot of people are really getting soda. Beginning of the year, it's probably the big like health kick. So they want to put soda out of their diet. So it kind of dips a little bit. Like any commission based thing is like crazy. You never know how it's going to work.
I would agree to a certain degree.
Okay.
I would say with certain jobs and certain commissions, you can go off of last year's number and have a pretty good
Very true.
guess of where you'll end up. And I do believe that sales has a different level that you can hit compared to hourly, unless you have a 4-year degree. That's where I say the cutoff is. You can make a lot in sales without a 4-year degree, but like people with 4-year degrees, can make a lot more. People with 4-year degrees though could probably make way more than the average person with, a sales job. It just depends on the career and what you're selling, because that all goes out the window when you start talking real estate sales. You know what I mean? So it's just really depends on the field. But, you talk about real estate and stuff, like people can make a full-time living and even more than that, like life-changing income without a 4-year degree. So that's the good part about sales. The only thing that sucks about sales, it is such a grind, man. Like, the reason why I don't think I was good at sales, like I was good at sales, the reason why I wasn't like the greatest that I could have been at sales was because I had YouTube and all this other stuff on my mind that I really wasn't thinking about sales. If I gave my total energy to sales, I would have been good. I would have been really good, and I probably would still be there, and I would probably be like doing really well.
I feel like YouTube's also like, obviously not like, it's not a commission, it's not like sales type of situation, but it is a situation where like you don't really like, you could probably expect where you're gonna be depending on how you've been like the last few months. But like, I don't know, like videos are tricky. Like you'll think it'll do really good and it either doesn't do that great, or like one you're uploading and you're like, all right, it's not bad, but it really takes off like way more than you thought, like,
or it takes off way later than you thought it would. Like something happens and then boom,
back around type of situation. Then all of a sudden people are like watching this video or all this stuff, and I don't know, YouTube's definitely another thing where it's like
yeah, well, and that's why sales was a great intro to this life. You know what I mean? Like sales was a great intro, being like, all right, you know what, not the greatest month, but I can figure it out. Like, and there were times like that, like not the greatest month, but I could figure it out. Next month is like a really good month. So it's like, all right, cool. Like that'll make up for what I didn't make last month. You know what I mean? Like that stuff balanced out. So it made it really, really easy. I want to sit here and I want to say like my Tesla was a life changer. It wasn't. I know I can't say that. I'm
trying to sit here. If you actually are watching on YouTube, I was just kind of like not staring off, but I'm like looking like this, and I'm like, what else has impacted me?
It impacted me because it was the first time I really went to a dealership and said, this is what I want and I'm getting it, type of thing. I was never in the position to do that before. So like, and I've had family members who weren't in that position before. So it was very special to me to be able to say like, hey, this is what I want, this is what I'm getting, type of thing. Because growing up not being able to see something like that, is, different. So in that retrospect, it impacted me, but honestly, nothing beyond that. Don't let me sit here and say that, because it's nothing past that.
I feel like I could kind of say the same about my car, because it was like a car I've always wanted, never actually dreamed of having. And once again, like Julian's the one involved with helping that happen. But
wow, this Julian guy sounds kind of cool. What the heck?
Yeah, he's okay sometimes. I'm just kidding. But it was also like the first car that was like all mine. My last car, I didn't have any credit. I kind of got it like, I want to say like the beginning of when I started working. Like, so I needed a cosigner. I needed someone that had credit to like help me basically get started. And like, I feel like making car payments on that was like what got my credit started. So on this car, I was able to do it like all on my own. I didn't need a cosigner. I didn't need like someone to like help me do it type of situation. Julian did make like the call and like had us go there and all that stuff, but
I did all the talking at the dealership. It's fine.
Yeah. So like he helped with that part, but like all the other parts, like what I needed for my last car, like I didn't need this time around. So like that definitely like hits different. It makes you feel really good.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, buying a house felt different.
Oh my God.
It felt
the process
different.
itself was different. Oh,
It felt different. And it was game changer only because like, I don't think I'll ever do it again. But like, it was great while it lasted, you know? Seriously, I don't know if I'll ever do it again. And, some people talk about why it's beneficial to own and all this other stuff. Listen to me. Hear me out right now. It's beneficial. I made a whole video about this, ranting about it. It's beneficial to you if that's what you want in life. But I'm not in a place in my life where I know this is where I want to live for the next 30 years. So I don't see it as beneficial to me, because I could sell my house. I could buy my house tomorrow and want to sell the next day. That's just where I'm at right now. And COVID made it very fortunate to move that way. Whereas like life right now would not work that way anymore. The housing market is not looking good. Not to get too political. The housing market doesn't look like it did back in 2020. And who knows if it'll ever look like that again. So getting out of there was a good idea, and selling when we did was game changer. You know what I mean? However, I don't think I'll ever buy again. I don't. And I'm saying we're talking about all these things that have changed my life. And I'm sure if you talk to me by the end of next year, like there's going to be a lot more that's changed my life. I really, really believe that I'm going to be leaving my state soon. I feel it.
I hope so.
I want to move out of my state so bad.
At the point where like I'm on base with that. Like I wouldn't be someone who would want like this big of something to happen, but like I'm so for it. Like the state we live in is so dry, so boring. There's nothing here really.
Yeah, man.
I need to get out. I don't necessarily know where I'd want to go, especially if it's going to be a spot where like I want to live for the rest of my life. I don't know if I have like a spot like that in mind. I have a few like places I know I'd want to go just to kind of like
settle
experience.
For a few years. Yeah.
So I have a couple of those in
LA,
mind.
call me.
But like
Orange County, what's up?
I don't know. I don't know where I'd want to go.
I want to go to LA.
Forever.
I'm telling you right now, I want to go to LA for just a year to 2 years. Give me 2 years, get it out of my system.
He just wants to experience it.
Let me make some content. And then honestly, we could go somewhere else. Yeah, seriously, give me a 2-year lease. Let me make some content, see what I could do.
I would say a 1-year lease. And if we have to do it again, we'll do it again.
Yeah, that's fine. Give me a 1-year lease. I'll take that. Give me a 1-year lease. We'll re-up and then let me jump out and do it again.
I'd rather go smaller and like hate it and time is up and we out than to hate it and like be like, oh, I have to live
It's expensive to move states though, so you don't want to keep doing that. But
well, yeah, but like I don't want to stay somewhere where like I absolutely don't like and like be like not trapped but like trapped there because like it's
all right. We're gonna price it out
break
tonight.
A lease.
We're gonna price it out tonight.
All right. Anyways,
we are. I don't see it being much more.
I want to look like.
So let's start looking around.
Bet.
All right, we're gonna start looking around. Y'all heard it here first.
With that being said, gotta go.
No, right? All right.
I'm really trying to think.
You're changing the whole podcast.
Yeah,
topic.
I feel like this isn't even the topic we started with.
You're changing the whole topic.
Changed my life. Changed my life.
You said most of what I had, honestly.
basically said everything that like quickly came to mind and like all like the main like big things. I'm sure there's a few like small things.
My friend
life.
who's going to be on the podcast next week definitely did.
The next guest, yes.
Aww. So shout out to her.
I feel like all the friends you've made lately have really like changed.
They've been
like,
different.
Impacted you.
Yeah,
in a 100%.
100%. Meeting all these creators like Kevin, Brian. Dude, hanging out with Brian was game changer. Like the photo shoot I did with Brian, like it opened my eyes to like why I want to go to somewhere like LA. It reminded me why, because like doing that photo shoot was so cool. Like if you guys don't know, Brian Terada is someone who makes like content. He's a content creator, lives in LA. He's part of the Cam Boys, and I got to do a photo shoot with him, and it was really a great time. I have the video on my vlog channel, but it was such a great time because I got to see what the creative space was like with another creator. I never really worked creatively with someone else like that. Like
not many. Like I said, we're dry around here.
I did gaming collabs, but like very gaming collab. You know what I mean? Like you sit at home, you play a video game. Like this is like us working together on a project. He's working on getting the photos done. I'm working on filming it. He's giving me tips. I'm giving him ideas. And we were just working, bouncing off each other collaboratively. Like there's nothing like that. No feeling like that, man. Oh my goodness. All right. There's one other moment that was game changer for me that has impacted me. Got to talk about it. You're going to appreciate this one. There's two moments where this happened to me and I was like, whoa. One time specifically with you, one time without you. The first time I was going to meet Eric. It was a meet and greet event. He was coming to New York. It was a big pizza party thing. I stood in line for hours. I was just like, all right, cool. I'm going to take a picture. I'll get to vlog it. This video is going to be sick. It's going to do well because everyone's going to be curious about what the event looked like, right? Cool. It did pretty good. The video did good. And I was going up in there. I couldn't film anything, which sucked. I wanted to film, but he had so many people in line. It would have just took too long to try to film. So I was like, all right, that's fine. I'm not going to film it. So I walked in. I take a picture with him. I'm eating my pizza. I'm about to walk away, grab my camera, grab my stuff. He looks at me, goes, hey, wait a minute. I looked up. He was like, you reacted to my 10 mil video, right? I was like, what? You saw that? I literally, that was the words that came out of my mouth because I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait, you saw that? And I was just like, yeah. It was kind of embarrassing, to think when you think about like, oh, I probably could have said something way better, way more profound than you saw that. But that's just the first thing that came to mind. I was like, wait a minute, he actually saw that. And he looked at me, he was like, keep grinding. Like, yo, look at the camera when I do this. Like, I'm telling you, there's something different about this. It's like, keep grinding. They go to Spotify too. But that keep grinding right there, that keep grinding with that head nod. And he literally did the fist too. Like, that means you got this. Yeah. You got this. Anyway, that's huge. That's huge. So shout out to him for that. And then the second time this happened to me, this time I was with Alyssa. We're at the K&J meetup. We're rolling through. We meet K&J. We're talking to them. It was real cool. Dapping them up. We stopped. We talked to Kevin for a little bit. It's so funny though, because Kevin saw us in line and we were talking to Kevin. He's like, yo, how's the baby and all that? This girl in front
of us was like, you know him. It seemed like you guys were friends. You know him. And I'm like, it's so weird. We don't really know him like that, but we have met him before.
Yeah.
But it was crazy because I literally had turned around and he was kind of in disguise because they come from LA. For New York, for us standing there, we weren't that bad, but coming from LA, New York was cold.
They were cold.
We're oh, it's getting nicer. It's not bad. But he's like, yo, you look crazy.
Yeah.
But I literally had turned and I was like, look who it is, kind of as a joke. But he actually remembered who we were and started asking us how we were, how the baby was, which is why they were like, whoa, you know him?
Yo, so that part was cool. And then we talked to him literally for 10, 15 minutes afterwards, which was crazy. So it was a great time. But then I would say the craziest part of that event for me was when we walked upstairs, we were buying our stuff and Neza sneaked in and I walked up. I was like, Alyssa, look, no way. Because we had just said, oh, shoot, Neza wasn't here. It sucks. We didn't get a chance to meet Neza.
Yeah, we were saying Neza, David, which apparently David was there, but he just wasn't there at the time.
I was like,
so
dang.
we thought he didn't come to New York at all. Yeah.
We were like, dang, Franny didn't go. We were looking for Bobby, but like we were
mentioned
literally
Nessa.
like, we were like, oh shoot, Neza didn't come. So then literally as we were buying our merch to leave, Neza walks in and I was like, oh, Alyssa, look. And she was like, oh my gosh, like to us. And I was like, wait, did she say that? And she's like, I watch you guys all the time.
Literally, she's like, so people had saw her before we did. So they were like, oh my God, like, can I get a picture? She's like trying to interfere with them. So we were kind of standing there waiting because I was like, I want a picture. And then Julian got a picture, like all that stuff. So she's like about to go with them, but said that to us, finished with them, came back to us. It was so crazy. But I was like, wait, what did she just say? Like,
Yo,
she just said that?
Yo, I wish I got it on camera. Like literally I had on camera her just saying like, oh my gosh, I didn't get the second part. Like the filming part. Dang it. It's hard, man. Like I want to film her sometimes because I'm so in the moment sometimes that like it's hard to be in the moment and to film at the same time, dude. Like that is such a hard thing. Like I envy you if you can be in the moment and also film. Like
I never really heard a creator like have that so easy.
yes, that's
A
the
lot of people
hardest
that I
thing.
watch are like, oh, I didn't get this. I'm sorry, but I was so in the moment, or I didn't do this. I'll update you later because I'm gonna like go like be with family or like all this stuff, like be in the moment with my friends. Like they come back and basically just update you. And I feel like a lot of YouTubers actually apologize for doing that, but like at the same time, it's like I feel like they shouldn't have to apologize. Like
Yeah, I get that.
some people want to see like everything, and like YouTubers want to bring you along for everything, so that way like I don't know, like the connection and all like the like community they're building, but at the same time it's like you can't take away from like personal life, if that makes sense.
Yes, but as a YouTuber, when we put out a video, like we're expected to put out a certain quality of product.
I mean,
And when
yeah,
we don't get
no.
a scene, it just hurts the quality of the product. So it is like, dang, sorry, like I'm still gonna upload this, but I didn't get that important scene that you would have liked. So like that's where I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna always apologize for that because like I feel bad because I'm like, dang it, dude. Like in the editing process, when I'm in the editing room, I'm like, yo, I'm sitting here trying to edit this and
Yeah.
I'm like trying to tell this story, but I don't have the image to do it justice. And that's how I felt with the whole Neza thing. And even with the Air Act thing, same thing. I couldn't get the film for it. And I just couldn't tell that. I like tried to come home and film it and give that feeling, that vibe I got. There's nothing like having it on camera
Right.
to solidify like, this is who I am. This is the vibe I got. This felt good. And, you know, now you feel it as well. You know what I mean? There's nothing, no way, like, it's like trying to tell the joke after everyone's already laughed, trying to explain the joke. Like once you have to explain it, it's not funny anymore.
Right.
And that's the thing, the feeling in terms of editing. Once you have to explain how something's supposed to feel, it's not going to feel that way anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless you can tell the story, it's almost not even like anywhere close. Sorry, that was just a whole editing rant.
I feel like moral of like what he was getting at is like, for me anyways, like it goes back to having like YouTube change your life, because being noticed by like people so big and like someone you never thought would like recognize you or know you, see you.
Dude, literally.
Like, even though we do reactions and like we're all over the internet with like all their types of videos, you never actually like, you kind of want them to like notice and like see and all this stuff, but you never like, I don't know, like I never really think like it's gonna happen. And,
Yeah,
like,
I never
to
expected it, dude.
To get to the point now where like we could walk up and they kind of like at least recognize who we are is insane.
Yeah. I mean,
insane.
dude, it was already insane. Like,
Because it was the same with Will.
well, yeah, definitely.
Will, Ryan.
Yeah, no, but even so, this is how I feel. Well, it's funny because like I forget who, somebody tried to introduce me to Will, and Will was like, "Oh, I know that guy."
Yeah.
Will was like, "Oh, I know him." I forget who was trying to introduce me to Will, but like, so I think it was crazy already before him when people were just commenting. Like, I think it was already a big deal. Like, it was like, wow, these people recognize us. They're commenting on our videos. Like,
Oh my God, that's another thing.
yeah, we're getting some big creators who comment on our videos. And then like, you know, Nessa from the Merrill Twins was like, I saw your reaction to our music video. I thought it was so sweet, you know,
So crazy.
like stuff like that. Like she said that in her live stream. So like, that's life changing because it's like, dude, like we react to things to entertain people. We don't expect the original creator to be entertained by it or enjoy it as well. And I think that that's the difference maker when that initial person who created the original piece of content gives you that stamp of approval. That's when like it feels really, really good. Okay. Sorry. That's why that's game changer, guys. It's just like validation for what you're doing. You know what I mean? When the numbers on YouTube don't validate what you're doing, but YouTube themselves validate what you're doing, or the creators themselves validate what you're doing, that's powerful.
I feel like that also goes into like, you go back to like, you feel really good about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like
100%.
it's definitely like something like really small and like extra that like you're actually being noticed for like the work you're putting in and like what you're doing.
I think one more thing that changed my life though was switching from gaming to vlogs. I think that like I was so tired. I thought gaming had a hold over me. I thought I had to be a gamer. Like if I thought I'm not entertaining enough to be on YouTube unless I'm playing video games. That was my identity on YouTube. That's just who I was. I thought that that's just how it had to be. I learned quickly that that's not true. And you guys who all supported the switch over to vlogs, like I appreciate it because I truly did believe that this is all I could be on YouTube. And I'm finding out that I can make high quality content without needing to play a video game, without needing to, be raging or, because I got bored with the game and I was still trying to force content. I didn't need to force content to be on YouTube. And that was a game changer for me, man. Mentally. Yeah. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's all I had.
What's your question of the week this week?
Question of the week. So since we kind of talked about like stuff that like changed your life, some in a big way, some small, like I said, didn't know how this would go, whether it'd be like a little lighthearted, a little deeper, blah blah. So my question of the week was, does change in life make you happy, scared, or are you just kind of neutral about it?
In general, depending what the change is, but I would say for the most part, I'm excited. I get excited for change. I love change. I love switching up. Like even the idea of sitting here talking about possibly moving away, like gets me amped up and excited. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how. I just feel like things like that just push me to a whole different like level, so to speak,
See, I feel like it's weird because like typically my answer for this I'd be scared. I'm not a big fan of change. I don't like when big things are happening, when a big change is happening, when it's gonna affect me a lot type of thing. Like it gets me really like anxious and nervous. Like I'm not the biggest fan of change, but the same thing for some reason. Like I'm just, like I said, I'm just at that point. Like if you had told me like I was moving out of state, like packing up and moving, like a whole life change in like definitely a whole new space, like I'd be so scared. But I don't know if it's good or bad that like I'm just in like a spot right now where if you told me we had to like pack up and like within the next couple months we were moving out of state, like I'm so excited. I want to move so bad.
Which is crazy.
Right. So like in that aspect, like I don't know, like I'm kind of ready for it, but like any other like change, no, leave me alone. Like I'd be so scared. Ask me like a year ago, I'd have been like, you're crazy.
Bro, I'm down. Like, listen, like throw me some change. Like, honestly, I need some change in my life. So what I need you to do is run up to YouTube right now. Go subscribe to Julian Fountain, Alyssa Julian Podcast. We need some change right now. So run up those subscribes. Share this with your friends, your family, because
get this podcast out everywhere.
Yeah, man. Like, and honestly, comment below hashtag ready for change. Like, if you're ready for some change, like I don't know what it is, but I think I'm just bored. So like, I'm like, yo, I'm ready for some change. I need to shake something up.
Okay. Well, let us know how you feel. Let us know how you are with change. If anything is happening in your life, whether you're ready for it, if you're scared, if you're kind of just like, it is what it is. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it doesn't, oh well.
And remember at the end, hashtag ready for change.
Yes, but that's all I have.
That's all I got, man. So we are out of here. We hope y'all enjoyed this episode of the Alyssa and Julian Podcast. Come back next week for a very special episode. It's a really deep, but also really good talk with a good friend. So please don't miss it. But we're out of here. Keep grinding. Keep chasing your dreams. And remember, Nothing worth having because easy. We out. Peace.